Hey guys, it's Dowden. In this 2-minute tutorial, we're going to be going over 7 techniques that we can use to achieve more clarity on our mix when using reverbs. Number 1, using sends and returns. If you don't know what sends and returns are, you can check the description for the video link of another video that I did that goes a little bit more in depth with what sends and returns are and how you can use them in a mix. Number 2, not using stereo reverbs on everything. Stereo reverbs can add a lot of width to a sound, and it can sound really nice to us at first, but sometimes using too much stereo reverb can make the track sound washy, and you can lose the direction of some of your sounds in the entire stereo spectrum. Sometimes using stereo reverbs as well as mono reverbs can help clear things up in your mix and not have it sound so washy or lose some of the direction of some of your sounds. Number 3, panning reverbs. So something that a lot of people don't actually do is they don't pan their reverbs. They just throw it on to whatever instrument they want to throw the reverb on, and they just let it play out in the entire stereo spectrum. But you can actually pan your stereo reverb so that more of the signal is coming in on one side than the other side, which brings me to my next point. Number 4, panning reverbs opposite of the original sound. If you have an instrument that is playing on your left side and you have it panned 30 or 40% to the left, what you can do is actually add a reverb and then pan that reverb 30 or 40% to the right. And with the stereo reverb, most of the reverb is going to be panned to the right, but you're still going to have that spread across the rest of the spectrum. If you mono your reverbs, you can also do this and have it directly coming in from the left or the right. Number 5, when adding things that you want to keep in the front of the mix, like vocals or maybe a snare drum, you can add reverb that is bright and light. Having a strong high end in that reverb can help bring it forward in the mix a little bit. Number 6, using pre-delays to give your instrument a little bit of room to breathe before you're actually adding the reverb onto the sound. This is something that is often overlooked as well for newer producers, and that is using the pre-delays. When you add just a little bit of pre-delay to a sound, what's happening is it's giving it a bit of time before the reverb actually starts to activate. If you have audio that's a couple hundred milliseconds and you're introducing reverb to it immediately, that reverb is going to be overlapping some of the original sound that is coming through before the reverb touches it. What you can do is add a pre-delay to this, and the pre-delay is going to give it space in between the original sound and before the reverb engages, and that gives it just a bit of room for the instrument to come through with the full dry signal before the reverb is activated. Number 7 is EQing reverb. This is something that a lot of people neglect, and it's such a simple technique, is to filter out the unnecessary low end or high end of the reverbs that you're using. EQing out low end of your reverbs can really add clarity to your mix and reduce a lot of the muddiness that's building up in those sections. I would suggest starting at about 300 Hertz and slowly working your way up and rolling off a bit of the low end so that you're clearing up some of the muddiness, but you're not taking away some of the energy that the reverb also has to offer. You can do this inside of most of the reverb plugins that you use, but you can also use an EQ for this as well. Of course, every case is different, but try experimenting and always check your mixes in mono, especially when dealing with a lot of reverbs and stereo imaging. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you can get more 2-minute tutorial videos like this one.